Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's Electric Bilodeau. Now, starting on Sunday, we're going to have the Major League Baseball draft kicking off. 20 rounds for the 30-plus Major League teams going to be held. And we've actually got a number of kids from here in the Low Country projected to go somewhere along the way. That includes P.J. Morlando from Summerville, who's expected to be maybe a first-round compensatory pick. His high school teammate, Cole Messina, also expected to be drafted at some point, as will Messina's brother, Cole Messina, former Summerville catcher and current catcher at South Carolina. I had a chance to catch up with Cole this afternoon to talk about what he's been going through leading up to this Sunday's draft, when he hopes to hear his name called out, what happens if he doesn't go where he wants to, and everything else he's been working on in this Gamecocks offseason. So here's Cole Messina.
All right, Cole Messina joining us on Electric Bilodeau this week. Cole, getting ready for this weekend, which could be a big one for him as we get ready for the MLB Draft. So, Cole, appreciate you taking a few minutes, and just what's this process been like for you as you get ready for the draft starting on Sunday?
Yes, sir. It's been fun. I mean, it's been a little hectic, a bunch of calls, a bunch of, Zoom calls and stuff. But I mean, what a change it for the world. I feel like, it's a good thing. It's not a negative. So, super excited and ready for this weekend.
What's it like to go through this process for the first time of, like you said, taking these calls from teams and seeing where you might fit in once you go professional?
It's a dream come true. I mean, obviously, have a chance to fulfill a dream this weekend, and, hearing the calls and the Zooms and stuff, just almost puts it more into perspective. And
so you've got the unique look too of going through this process with your brother as he's leaving Summerville, and he's set to go to South Carolina, but he's also getting looks at from professional. What advice are you giving your brother as you guys go through this?
The only thing I've told him really is just to soak it in. I mean, not every high school baseball player gets to do this, and hopefully he has a decision to make, and whatever decision he decides, it's his choice. I mean, all I can do is support it. So I just told him to soak it in, enjoy it, get some experience out of it, and see what happens.
When you look back on the decision you had to make a few years ago, are you glad it went the way you did? Are you glad you went to South Carolina, or would you have rather maybe started your professional career a few years ago?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I went to South Carolina. I mean, I met lifelong friends, met some of the best people I've ever met, and I think it made me a better person and a better player. So,
what's the biggest thing you're working on right now as far as your game goes as you get ready to make this step?
Just continuing what I did down the second half of the year. Kind of found some things that worked for me well, and felt like I need to do that, throughout the rest of my career, and feel like, so just doing those same things that I was doing down the second half of the year, and just trying to stay who I am.
A couple of people I've talked to have said it's going to be weird this year because the draft is being held later for the first time. It's middle of July this year as opposed to early June as it was in years before. Wherever you go, what do you expect will happen early on? Do you think you'll go to a minor league team, or will you just be more working out with the team somewhere else?
I don't really know. I feel like, with each team, it kind of differs in some way. So, I feel like, go down there, get acclimated with everything, and, maybe get sent off, or maybe stay wherever I am and, just train, work out. I don't really know. So we'll see.
I always feel like guys from this area kind of have a step up when it gets to this point, because the high school ball is so good, and then you go on to the college ball, and it's so good here in this area too. And even in Charleston, we see what it's like with the River Dogs to start off early on in that minor league career. Is that something you kind of feel like wherever you go, you kind of understand what the next step is going to involve?
Yes, sir. There's, like you said, there's been a lot of guys do it before me. There's going to be a lot of guys after, obviously, but I think, being around the River Dogs, being around, the high level of play, and, the high level workouts in the off season with, the pro guys when they come back, I think it kind of, laid a blueprint, or, like the base layer, you could say, for me, and kind of gives me something to expect.
The thing I'm always interested in with guys when they're going into the draft is it usually seems, especially when you've got a chance to go back to school if you wanted to, the line everyone kind of sets. And, some guys, it's like, I need this amount of money or else I'm going back to school, or I want to go this high or I'm going back to school. You don't have to tell me what it is, but is there a line for you that you want to see, either, money wise or draft wise, you say, I need to go here or else I'm going to consider some other options?
I mean, I don't really want to get into it too much on, the news, but I mean, I feel like there's a line, but I don't really have a true understanding of what it is. So we'll see, I guess you could say.
One of those things you'll know it when you see it.
Yeah, like, if something happens, look at it and, weigh your options. But no, I don't think there's like a true set line, you could say.
Right. But that's always important for guys in your position, because that's kind of your biggest negotiating power, is to say, if this doesn't go my way, I have another option that I can go with.
No, yeah. I mean, if something comes up, I'm more than happy, going back to school. I love South Carolina. I love the coaches, love the people up there. So, and it's not like it's a negative. I'm in a win-win situation, you could say.
Talk about what's going on in South Carolina right now, because everything since the end of the season, there's been, obviously a coaching change and a lot of upheaval, and Coach Monty Lee is staying there. So I'm sure that was a big thing for a lot of the guys who are going back. Just what's it been like seeing all this craziness over the last few weeks?
It's kind of a lot. Like I haven't had to deal with it before. It's kind of the first time I've dealt with a coaching change. So I mean, it's kind of cool to see like how people respond, you could say, and you kind of learn more about people, like throughout the locker room, throughout the the support staff. But it's been well. I think Coach Maneri's the right guy for the job. He's got a track record, wants to win, and we'll see.
I thought it was really cool to see the team kind of rally around Monty a little bit during that whole exchange. And even when he didn't get the job, he gets a big bump and he gets to stay at South Carolina. And I'm sure that meant a lot to him to see the support from the other guys.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to watch this or not, but, he's my guy. And I'll do anything for him, and he knows that. And I know that he'll do anything for me. So, it was really cool to see him be able to stay on staff and still be around the program, because he does. He means the world to the program and means the world to the players. So
we mentioned your brother Carson a minute ago, and like I said, if he doesn't go into the draft, he's set to go to South Carolina. Is there any disappointment for you that once you get drafted, assuming everything goes well, that you're not going to get a chance to play with him again at Columbia, or did you kind of expect this the way it would go?
I mean, there is some disappointment because not everyone gets to have the chance to play with their brother, but I think that we've both come to a realization that some things you can't turn down, some things you can. And, if this was either of us, if something, life-changing or comes up that where we can't play with each other, I think it's a good understanding of why. So there's gonna be like no bad blood or whatnot. I mean, there wouldn't be anyways, but some people might think so. So
I'm sure that's not anything some people would think. But I wanted to ask too. I'm always curious about the process going through the draft. I'm sure growing up as a baseball fan, you had teams that you always enjoyed rooting for and guys you really liked. What's it like when you're talking to these other teams now and teams you rooted against your whole life? Were you able to kind of compartmentalize that, or because I know I grew up in Boston and I was a Red Sox fan, and if I was in your position talking to the Yankees, I'd be like, I don't know if I could do this. But then I would see the check and be like, yeah, I could probably do this.
No, it's fun. Like, because, if anything, it kind of breaks the ice. You could, shoot a joke at them like, oh, I hate the Yankees or something like that. Like just messing with them, and it kind of breaks the ice and, relaxes the room, because when you do meet with those guys, and there's nerves, there's like, a little tension in the room just because, you don't want to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. So, it just kind of loosens everyone up, you could say. So it's fine. I don't think anything of it now, but.
So before I let you go, what are your plans for the draft? Are you one of the guys that's going to be sitting in front of the TV and watching everything every second, or do you need to kind of get away? And, I remember old stories about guys who would just get on a fishing boat and just get out of town as best they could so they didn't have to worry about it.
No, I think we plan, me and a couple teammates from Columbia and Carson and, my roommates there, I think we're going golfing on Sunday before to kind of, get our minds off things. And, I think we'll be at the house watching and having people over. So.
Awesome. Well, Cole, thank you so much for taking a few minutes. I really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend. Everyone here is rooting for you, and good luck with the next step.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks so much to Cole Messina for joining us this afternoon. Like I said, the Major League Baseball draft kicking off on Sunday. You can see it on ESPN or the Major League Baseball Network. Like I said, aside from Messina, his brother Carson expected to go at some point over the 3-day draft, as well will P.J. Morlando, the Summerville outfielder, who was the Gatorade State Player of the Year. He should be hearing his name called probably that first day on Sunday. We'll have much more on that coming up later this weekend. That's going to wrap it up for Electric Bilodeau this week. We will see everybody next week. Have a good weekend.